We are about to break some serious news on this show. Next, joining us here in studio is NBC's Richard Engel. He's NBC's chief foreign correspondent, and he is joining us with an exclusive, jaw-dropping report from the Pentagon about America's chances for military success in Afghanistan. This is a report that Richard has obtained exclusively. It may change the whole narrative of how we discuss the war. You can wait for tomorrow's newspapers to read about it, or you can just stick around for a couple of minutes to see it here. We'll be right back. NBC's Richard Engel is joining us again tonight in just a moment with some big news that he has obtained exclusively about the war in Afghanistan. I think that this is potentially narrative-changing, course-changing stuff. He broke the story tonight on NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams. We'll have Richard here in person in just a moment to walk us through this document that he has obtained. Because we are talking about Afghanistan, I do want to report first, though, that an American soldier was killed today there under very worrying circumstances. The Defense Department and NATO are not saying anything about this yet, other than to confirm that an American was killed in a shooting. But it's reports from Afghan and Italian sources that make this so worrying. They're saying that this American was killed by an Afghan soldier who opened fire on foreign troops with whom he was serving. 2 Italian soldiers wounded in the same incident in which 1 American was killed. Again, the Pentagon and NATO are saying only that they're investigating this case. But a corps commander with the Afghan National Army told the Associated Press that this Afghan soldier got angry when NATO soldiers tried to keep him away from a helicopter that was about to land. Italian sources reporting that there was no chance the shooting was accidental. It was intentional. Now, this isn't the first time something like this has happened, not by a long shot. In November, an Afghan policeman shot and killed 5 British soldiers in Helmand province. In October, 2 American soldiers killed when someone wearing an Afghan National Police uniform opened fire on them in Wardak province during what was supposed to be a joint Afghan-American patrol. In March, an Afghan soldier killed 2 American servicemen and wounded a 3rd before killing himself. Back in July 2007, an Afghan soldier opened fire and killed 4 of his own countrymen and wounded an American advisor. The American was reportedly the target of his rampage. And in May of 2007, an Afghan soldier shot and killed 2 American soldiers and wounded 2 others outside a top security prison near Kabul. This is not a comprehensive list of incidents of this kind. We don't have a tally of how many Western troops have been killed by the very forces they are in Afghanistan to train. But incidents like today's and this even abbreviated catalog of past carnage of this type raise questions about the nature of our mission in Afghanistan, even as our president escalates it. The most minimal description of what our forces are there to do is to train and equip Afghanistan's military and police so that they can defend their country themselves. It appears that at times we are arming them, and then they are turning around and training that fire on us. There are also new questions today about whether our mission to train Afghan forces, even if it is wise, a question about whether it has a chance of succeeding, at least whether it has a chance of succeeding within the time frame that President Obama has laid out for that mission. With us again tonight is NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel. He has obtained a sobering new report that's not meant for distribution, but it was prepared for U.S. military commanders by an independent research group. It provides an assessment of Afghan security forces. Richard, it's nice to see you again.
It's a pleasure to be here. This report, 25 pages long, was provided for a briefing for the top commander, CENTCOM commander David Petraeus. Also CC'd on this report was the senior commander in Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal. And it talks about the readiness of the Afghan security forces, primarily the Afghan National Army. To understand the context of this, the main mission of the United States Army, all of the different forces that are there, is to train the Afghan security forces so that American forces can ultimately leave.
That's the main point of what we're doing.
That is the #1 priority. The reason 30,000 extra troops are going there is to try and create enough security so that an Afghan army can be built. I was told this by numerous commanders. #1 priority. This report says that that priority is facing serious, serious problems, and the military knows it. This was an independent study. If I could just I could read a few things.
Yeah.
It talks about how, this is the opening statement, the ANA, which is Afghan National Army, above company level is not at war. Now, company level means the small unit. So the soldiers on the ground, they're fighting. Above, say, 150 soldiers, anything colonel, general, anyone at that level, according to this report, doesn't believe he's at war. They talk about corruption. This is a quote. Nepotism, corruption, and absenteeism among ANA leaders make success impossible. Change must come quickly. Another line. If Afghan political leaders do not place competent people in charge, no amount of coalition support will suffice in the long term. It's more than sobering. It says that this is a serious challenge. It goes on to say that rehabilitating the Afghan security forces will not take 1 year. It will take a long time.
Did they give a time frame about how long it would take if it was going to happen?
No. I've heard that independently from this report that they're thinking about 4 years. And the reason that the dates are important is there is the key speech by President Obama. He said he wants to start dialing back the surge roughly 18 months, the summer of 2011, 18 months from when he announced it. That is impossible, according to this study, to get the Afghan security forces up and running and in place, and even with some sort of semblance. Another key finding in this report says that the numbers of Afghan troops and police that are on the ground are inaccurate, that some battalions will over-report by 40 to 50%. Inflate their numbers. It's a serious
So in
sign.
short, it's this internal assessment, which is not meant for distribution, which has been made available to you, which is in itself a story, says that what we know about the current strength of Afghan army and police is wrong, that it's been overstated.
It's been overstated.
And the timeline that the president laid out, an 18-month timeline for training, can't work. It explicitly says this can't happen within 18 months.
I'll read. There's a line that says, it cannot take a year to fix this problem. And they go on and on describing the problems with the leadership. Quote, many ANA leaders, Afghan National Army leaders, work short days, are often absent, and place personal gain above national survival. So when you hear all of these things, it should raise a degree of concern. If the primary mission, and I've been told the primary mission, is to train the Afghan security forces, it is more than a sobering assessment. It shows we have a lot of work to do.
Well, if this reflects the view of the military, this says that the military does not believe it is possible to do what President Obama says the mission is in Afghanistan.
This was prepared for the military.
Yes.
The top commanders want, and I've been told this, that General Petraeus wants realistic, not optimistic assessments. That's a quote from a spokesman tonight about this. They say that this report is not complete yet, that it is a report in progress, but they do recognize that there are serious shortcomings in the Afghan security forces.
NBC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Richard Engel, as I said, I think this is a big deal in terms of thinking about why we're fighting there and what for and whether or not it has any chance of success. You're the only one reporting it. You're the only one who has access to this information. Thanks for sharing with us tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it.